Hi there, my name is Love Alabi, and if this is the first time that you're watching my video, I would like that you go through my previous videos where I've been sharing my life story that I've titled Breaking the Loud Silence of Domestic Violence. Today, I want to address a question I want to talk about why people stay in abusive relationships or in domestic violence environments. And I would, for the next couple of weeks, talk about the different reasons why people do so. I'll start off with this reason: the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown. See, in 2017, my life things were really rough and tough. I was in a marital relationship that was characterized by domestic violence, and it was basically an abusive environment that I was in. And I remember very well that I knew that I needed to make the decision to leave that relationship. I mean, one day was not different from the other. It was just pain, shame, turmoil. It was basically tough. But I was scared. There were so many things, so many uncertainties that raced through my mind. What if no one believed me? What if no one took us in? What if my children were taken away from me? The uncertainty was so much that it felt better almost to stay in that comfort zone, because the chaos and the toxic environment felt like a comfort zone to me. And I just wasn't the fear of what was going to happen, if I moved to another town and, search for a job. Was I going to get a job? What was it going to be like? And so many things, raced through my mind. But I thank God that I left when I left, and it didn't take any much time to make that decision after that. And I remember applying for a job and just throwing out my resumes to different states, basically, to along my career path. And I remember that in one of the states, so it was in another state from in another state aside that I wasn't living in, and I got two interviews that I was scheduled to attend. One was at an organization, a very, very well-known organization, and then the other was for a short contract. And the day after I flew into the state for the interviews, I got correspondence from the big organization saying that they had put a pause on the interview process, and it felt so devastating. Luckily, there was a family, lovely family, who took us in, and we didn't have to pay. And I also remember that, feeling very bad, even though there was the other interview with a short contract that had a short period of time, but that was good. And I remember that 2 days later, after receiving the call to postpone the interview, I got another call, and it just so happened that they were, eagerly recruiting, and they wanted to know if I was available to come in for an interview. And guess where this job was? It was in the very town where I flew into. And that interview, I happened to be successful at that interview, and it just rolled on to another interview, and it happened to be my first job that I got in that state. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that when God has a plan, God knows exactly where you're at, and is more than willing to help. He is absolutely more than willing to help, but you have to make the decision to leave that toxic environment, I would always say you do not deserve a life of pain, shame, and hurt. I'll share another story of mine, another experience, and it had to do with getting an apartment. And so when it was time to leave, where the family who took us in, I started to look for an apartment, and it so happened that there were, it was the apartments were taken up very quickly, and then there were the if most of the apartments that I applied for I did not get, but there was this particular one that I went in to see, and I remember going through the rooms. It was an apartment that I really liked. It fit into my budget, and there was another man looking at it. So it wasn't just me, it was someone, or there was someone else who was in there looking at it. And I remember that the estate agent in charge of the property, she just looked at me and she said, "I'm going to give you the apartment." I was shocked. I was shocked, as I did not expect that, because of the previous rejections that I've got, that I had with regards to searching for a rental place. And it just so happened that she did not even check with my referee. I remember walking in the next day at work, and I told my manager, who was my referee on the job application, on the rent application, and I said, "I've got the apartment." And I was like, "Really? Nobody contacted me to find out, or just checking?" And that was how I got my rental, my very first rental in the city that I moved in. What am I trying to say, or the point that I'm trying to make, is that God knows exactly where you're at. I just want to quickly read from the TPT translation of the Bible, Psalm 34 verse 4. It says, "Listen to my testimony. I cried to God in my distress, and he answered me, and he freed me from all my fears." God is more than willing, he's more than able to free you from all your fears, but you have to trust him. You have to reach out to him, but willing to tell him exactly how you feel. The feeling of fear is valid. Those what ifs and your certainties, the fear of the unknown is valid, but that is not your absolute truth. I just want to let you know that that is not your absolute truth. The earlier that we trust God, the earlier that we decide to depend on God, the earlier that we make the decision to leave that point of shame, of pain, to leave the environment that is toxic to you and all your loved ones or your children, the earlier that things start to happen. I just want to believe very strongly that this video has encouraged you, and I would like to thank you for your time, that the time and your attention that you've had while watching my video. I do appreciate it. I do not take it for granted. Till next time, when I talk again about another reason why people fail to leave a toxic relationship, I would like to say that you take care and God bless. Bye for now.